beautifully. Harry Kane got things off and running. Eric Dier on the score sheet. Bentancur, but Son was the man who turned things on his head with a hat-trick. Replaced by Kulusevski in the starting lineup, Son Heung-min came on after 59 minutes and scored his first Premier League goals of the season in style. A 14-minute hat-trick. Everyone a great finish. And he's with Jeff Shreves. Right things. He came on, he just wanted to help the team on 59 minutes. He got the hat-trick though. Was that a player making a point?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, the saying, form is temporary, class is permanent, has never been more appropriate for what he did right there. We were doubting him before the game. Of course he would have been angry. You could see him on the bench. Great players want to play football. He is a very, very special player, and that's exactly the right way to react when you get left out or whatever way you look at it. But Spurs have so many great options, and you have to buy into that. It's not about an individual player. It was always Son and Kane last 3, 4, 5 years. Now there's other options. You've got Richarlison, you've got Son, Kulusevski, Kane. Brilliant options to come off the bench, and that's exactly what you have to buy into. So for now, that is the perfect example of what to do as a player, but also as a manager. You have to say to Antonio Conte, he's got it right. He's not afraid to leave players out, even though he won the Golden Boot last year. He's a brilliant player, and at confidence, you spoke about it before the game about Leicester, how their confidence is so fragile. And it's the same with players sometimes. Son has said himself, I had to go back to basics to get my finishing right. And that's exactly why he's got the rewards today. It was a brilliant hat-trick and an amazing cameo.
He talked about feeling like he disappointed the fans, he disappointed the rest of the team without scoring those goals. But he's got the hat-trick now. They were already 3-2 up when he came on, Wes, but how much more difficult did he make life for Leicester?
And he needs to buy into it as well, and it's not easy. And I've been left out, I'm sure. Wes has had situations. The one thing you can't do is sulk. You have to get on with it, and you have to do what's right for Tottenham and right for the team, because they have got a chance this year to achieve something. They really have. They've got a brilliant squad, but everyone has to buy into it, and that comes with training, that comes with playing games off the pitch, when you're walking around the training ground, setting the right example. Because if you've got a player there that looks like they're not happy or they're sulking because they've been left out, it can transmit to everything. It can really affect the way that the whole club is being run. Now, for him, that's just the perfect answer, the perfect antidote to have a successful run now for him. You know, he said he can't wait to get away with the international team, score more goals.
Been really down, and it's affected the team. But to see them get round him when he scored the goal, you know, it's great to see, and you can tell he's a very likeable player in the dressing room.
It was almost like a highlights reel, 30 minutes or so on the pitch. Fantastic.
Because the confidence is fit, he's feeling good. And I'm so pleased for him because, you know, like Wes says, he's such a great player. He's in
a 6-2 game, and some really stretched Leicester when he came on, and that last half hour was tricky for them. But Leicester actually took the lead in the game early on.
Yeah, exactly. I mean,
not for Leicester.
Leicester conceded 16 goals from corners last season, and it's something that's into this season as well. The reply from Tottenham, and that put them 2-1 up in this game, both of them.
From a defender's point of view, when there's too many bodies, you just got to hope for the best sometimes, and hope the ball lands on you.
And you're marking Harry Kane there, and I just feel like he's a wing.
First picked, you know, a lot of the players in or out, or not starting, and you know, Eric Dier is ever present. So I think, you know, he's definitely a great shot to, you know, put himself forward to be started and be more of a, you know, a mainstay for England, I think.
It all depends how Gareth wants to play, because you've got to be versatile in situations. But in the middle of a back three, I can't think of anyone better right now. He's one that's playing regularly, full of confidence. And you can see that when you work with a coach, someone like Antonio, every day you're learning, you're training, the benefits are just, you know, there for all to see. He's playing so well. Boy, would he have said that selfish in the dressing room?
Any goal's a goal, but, you know, I agree, because he's got that ability.
Yeah, and wherever that goal came off, it was a spectacular goal from James Maddison.
Scinaldo. That's what my kid tells me.
Start of the second half, whereas Ndidi was caught.
James, talk us through that from a Leicester point of view, because for a long time, over an hour, there were more than promising signs.
Yeah, it's tough to kind of debrief it in the head so soon after the scoreline. Obviously, people will check the scoreline and see 6-2 and think, wow, Leicester got battered again. But I don't think it was the case. Like you said, first half especially, I thought we were outstanding. We worked so hard this week, so much work on the training pitch every day on this game, because we know we need to produce better performances and results, because we have we haven't been of late. Put so much into the game, and first half it seemed like the Leicester that we know, and a Brendan Rodgers side that we've created over the last few years. The high press was working really well. We were comfortable in possession, had many chances to score. And then obviously Son comes on, produces a couple of moments of magic. The game gets stretched, and it ends up. Well, yeah, we conceded from a couple of set pieces, which is obviously disappointing, because if I told you how many hours we've done working on that, because it was a bit of a downfall of ours last season, brought in a set piece coach, and everyone's really brought into that. So, but to be fair, Eric Dier gets a brilliant header on it, and he's a big guy. It's sometimes hard to stop when it's quality, and then a couple of mistakes of our own from individual mistakes, which ended up making it too much for us to do.
The manager.
It's not the manager. We're the 11 out there, you know, and it's painful, and it hurts to negativity when ultimately we're the players out there that have to do the business, and we haven't been of late, and that hurts us. Yeah, I've always had that belief, and that's why I'm stood here doing an interview for a Premier League club, you know, and I've worked hard to get to where I am, and that will never change. That self-belief, that's something I've had as a young kid, but I think on the England stuff, we've just got to focus on the collective at Leicester at the minute, and try and climb that table. Keep putting in performances like the first half today. I know that's hard to say after a 6-2 win, but there was a lot of promising signs, and push that table, get the results that we need, and ultimately, hopefully, that will leave me in better stead on that front. Yeah.
Easy to come out after a 6-2 defeat and speak to the media and give your perspectives. But for all the players, Wes, heading into this international break, not just off the back of this result, but this result at the end of what's been a terrible start to the season. Yeah,
it's been a really bad period. You know, would have been good to finish on a high note, to go into the international break and come back fresh and ready to reset and restart, but can't stop. And we've got some great games going up, you know, Leicester, they play Bournemouth, Forest, Wolves, Leeds. There's some real games where you can pick up some wins and some points, which is much needed. And yeah, it's going to be a tough few weeks to the next game, but you know, it's the manager's job to pick them up, keep them going, and fight to the bitter end and keep going.
And what we often hear from teams who are struggling for form is that they need to get some kind of rhythm together. This has been such a stop-start season, and there's another pause coming up now, certainly from club football. Yeah, absolutely. It doesn't help for sure, but what also doesn't help is when you keep conceding goals from set pieces. Every time there's a corner, the alarm bells are ringing. Every time there's a set piece in a wide area, just like they're going to concede. There isn't really anyone taking responsibility. They conceded so many last year. And again this year, as soon as Spurs add any kind of delivery into the box, they can't live with it. It's a major problem, and then it just becomes like something that you can't stop. Teams feed off it. You can see that even the Leicester players, nobody's really organising. I remember watching the team when Wes won the Premier League with Leicester. Yourself, Robert Hoof, organised. Every time there's a set piece, making sure you deal with it. Letting maybe the lesser likes not having the responsibility. But now it seems like nobody's taking that responsibility. And that's why they're in the mess that they are. They can't keep conceding the goals that they do. Otherwise, it's inevitable. We're going to lose football matches. We're going to look back at this game at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium of both managers. Heung-min with a 14-minute hat-trick to make it 6-2 for Spurs against Leicester. Anyone who's got a fantasy football team will have been concerned to see him start the evening on the bench, but their fears will have been slightly allayed for the 9.5%.
I thought for 73 minutes of the game, it was a really good game, and I thought we were arguably the better side with the chances we'd created. We just got punished today for mistakes, and I'd asked the players before the game, like I said, to play with that courage and be brave, and they were certainly that. How they pressed the game, how they were able to take the ball, but we conceded early on in the second half for 3-2, and then Lloris makes a great save for 3 each. And then we lose the ball and the breakaway, and it gets to 4-2, and then again the game becomes open the last 50 minutes, and then that's just about managing the game really, and that's just managing the scoreline. You know, the two centre halves were fantastic today, but in that last little period of the game, we were so keen to try and get something back that we left them isolated. So the score then looks a lot worse than what the actual game was, I felt.
So not a fair reflection for you?
I think have a look at the number of course, international break now to recover, and then a run of games starting with Nottingham Forest to get back on track.
You said yourself, this is the of your career. You're an experienced manager. 6 straight defeats and a heavy one at that. How much does this scoreline, do you think, increase the pressure on you?
Yeah, very much so. No, it absolutely does. I come in every day and do my work, and we can see the players playing with the confidence. However, you got to win games. So I totally understand that. You know, I understand the frustrations of supporters and whatever. So yeah, I can't hide from that. This is my responsibility with the scores.
How supportive do you believe the owners you have are of you and their belief that you can turn this around?
Listen, whatever happens, I'll have a huge amount of respect for them because they've given me great support since I've been here. So I understand the game. I understand football. Today, the scoreline I didn't think reflected the game, but the bottom line is we've had a heavy defeat, and we should have been better. So for me, they give me brilliant support, and like I said, whatever ever happens to me here at Leicester, whether I stay or whether I continue to fight on, then you know, I'll always respect them.
Reflect on Brendan Rodgers' comments in just a second, but just to remind you of where Leicester are. They are bottom of the table. They're on their worst run in 8 years. They've got a goal difference of -12. They've conceded 22 goals from their 7 games so far this season, and they have just 1 point from their opening 7 fixtures. James Maddison said earlier, this isn't about the manager, this is about the players, whereas Brendan Rodgers was saying, I have to take responsibility for this. It's not about the players. They're giving me what I asked for. They're giving me the bravery to go forward that I'm asking for. And you could write this off as a sort of freak result, that there wasn't a 6-2 difference between the sides today. The problem is it comes off the back of a really poor start to the season. In that context, where do you think Leicester are at the moment?
I think if you look at this game in particular, you know, I've seen a lot of belief, a lot of confidence and determination in trying to, you know, put out performance and get a result. Like Brendan said, you know, 60, 70 minutes was right in the game. You know, Leicester was working hard. And I think what we obviously need to remember is a couple of key saves from Lloris. You know, if they went in, might have changed the dynamics of the game, and Leicester would have came away with possibly with a win. But, you know, I think when you're in a rut, you're on a run that Leicester are on, you know, things don't go your way, and when you give away the ball cheaply, like some of the players did, you get punished against the top teams, and that's exactly what's happened today.
Jamie, we've seen it before where there might be a good performance, but if the result goes the wrong way, particularly at the end of a poor run, it's the result that is going to be the focus. Where do you think this leaves Brendan Rodgers? Well,
it's not just that result, it's the results and the way that they've been playing. I think it's been tough for him. He didn't really get backed in the transfer window, didn't get the players in that he'd have wanted, and good players left as well, which doesn't help. There's a number of things I think is when there's always alarm bells ringing when you're in the run of form that you are. There's an international break coming up. There's good fixtures coming up for if you want to change it, bringing in a new manager. They're the factors that you have to look at. I really like Brendan Rodgers. I think he's a top manager. But when I listen to him speaking there, he, to me, looks like he's resigned as well to maybe they might make changes. Because you have to, the easy option sometimes for others is to change it and try and get someone in to freshen it up, give you a bit of hope, a bit of belief, a different voice in the dressing room. I mean, Leicester got rid of Claudio Ranieri when he did the year, 6 months after he'd won the league. So they're not afraid to make changes. And I just have a feeling that something might happen there. And even Brendan knows. He knows the game. He's been in it long enough. If they were to sack him, he'd look at the run I'm on. I'm not doing well enough. Can you get the right manager in to change it? And I've got no doubt, even if they do change it, he will be a really successful manager somewhere else. But sometimes it comes to that point when there's an international break and the fixture's coming up, it's a good time maybe to change it. And I do fear for him.
Are the owners long-term, forward-planning, patient owners, do you think, Wes?
I think, looking at the managers we've had in the past, you get more than a chance to make things right. And at the same time, the owners are ambitious and want trophies, want results, have high expectations, and there'd be a time, it's a results business at the end of the day, and there'd be a time where enough's enough and they feel like, or any owner will feel like a change is necessary, needs to be made, and it's just when for the owners. And I hope Brendan gets more of a chance and a longer go at it, because I've worked under him and I know his capabilities, and I know he's an excellent manager. But it's a results business. Brendan understands that, and it's down to the owners if they want to give him a longer or not.
And as much as those fixtures might look good for any incoming manager, I presume they would look good to Brendan Rodgers as well, as something that he could look at to try and turn results around for Leicester this season. It's been a terrible start to this evening. It's printing evening for Leicester. The absolute opposite, though, for Tottenham and Antonio Conte. He's with Jeff Shreves.
Players don't like being left out of the starting 11, do they? So perhaps when he came on, he had that extra motivation.
If a player is an intelligent player, is a good player, is a good person, and it happened this. Otherwise, can happen also, and it happened in the past in my career, that other players start on the bench when they come in. They are they don't want. No, you don't see the desire, the will. You understand? But we are talking about really poor person. I have a group of players that I have a really top person, and I always say this, and for this reason I'm sure every situation, every decision that I'm going to take is always the best of the team, always. They have to understand this. They have to understand that sometimes to start on the bench and to come in, it's important, because in the next game you go to play again the start 11, but at the same time you recharge of energy, mental energy and physical energy. And today I'm really happy for Sonny, because what I think about the player, about the person, and he didn't score from the start of the season. Today in 30 minutes he scored 3 goals, and I said to him that if you score every time 3 goals in 30 minutes, maybe we can repeat this experiment. But I was joking, okay, but I repeat, and I'm lucky because I have a good group of players, a really good person, and they have to understand if we want to go in another step, in another level, we have to start to think in a different way for the team, for everybody, and then I have to make the best decision. I think today that also when I make substitution today was good what I did.
High spirits, and not surprisingly, his decision paid off. He said that's what you've got to do. You have to rotate the players to keep the energy levels high if you want to be a big club.
Absolutely. You need everyone. You need everyone to buy into what you're trying to achieve. I'm not sure that Son would perhaps agree with that plan of doing that every week, bringing him off the bench because he wants to start, and they all want to start. But you have to make big decisions. That's why he's one of the best managers in the world. He'll just be hoping all his players come back from international duty. Huge game against Arsenal coming up. But Spurs do look very good. The options they've got off the bench and the players that are starting going forward are just a joke. So I only worry about the wing-back areas. I'm sure that's an area that he will want to strengthen given time. But so much to look forward to for Tottenham at the moment.
Jamie, Wes, thank you very much for your company this evening. Though Tottenham got a 6-2 victory over Leicester, impressive from them, and it looks like Heung-min Son is up and running in some style. Bye-bye.
Son fan club hasn't had a wasted journey after all. And here's Son. Is he going to do it on his own, or could he use Højbjerg? He's gone for goal! That's the moment he craved! Does lay it off this time for Son. Son! No let-up here. Could this be the hat-trick? Son has his hat-trick. It's a sunshine day at the Tottenham confident ball. Scholes drives it in. What a goal!